All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Monday afternoon, May 24th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Welcome on back here, of course, for our afternoon meeting. Great to see all of our students live inside Cyber Group. Norman, Andrea, buongiorno as always. Michael, or Mike, I should rather say, one of our new trial members joining us, including Kathleen, Ray, Leda, all of our students alike live inside Cyber Group. And alongside them, all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, welcome on back. Gotta say, folks, I mean, I just went over this last week, even in our beginner class, the phase one stock course. You know, we talk about best and worst days of the week to trade, times of the day to trade. I'm breaking all my rules, right? I mean, just across the last hour and a half, 2 hours, it's been incredible between space, between PLTR, Mara, AMC, and not just from the last couple of hours, mind you, but I mean, really right out the gate this morning for a Monday. And especially going into a holiday, let alone, I mean, obviously next Monday, maybe not so obvious for anyone outside the U.S. perhaps, but, you know, Memorial Day going into next weekend. And of course, Monday markets are closed next week. So things should be slow. Things were not slow today. Things were beautiful on the way up. SPY at the highs right now. So let's talk all about it here. Space right now to begin, just full transparency. I've been in this trade. I don't know the exact time, minute and second, whatnot, but I got in when it rebroke over 25 right here going into the afternoon. I was playing around with this all day, you know, from the morning, but ended up beginning to make a nice drop after the market opened. Ended up finding a bottom off 24. It was tough to like anticipate the exact when, because you would think maybe the first time would be the shot right here, and that's what I ended up getting. But even afterwards, as this was beginning to bottom out, you didn't know, would this break lower and try and fill the gap on the way down from pre-market? Or, you know, if it doesn't break lower, maybe there's a chance that this can make the type of move that you're seeing here. So, you know, hey, I'm in this trade now from 25. I didn't, you know, think that it would make this type of run right off the bat, but here we are now. And for the meantime, I already closed half my position out right off of 25.50 earlier. So I'm going to keep half on the table for the meantime. Space pretty much at the highs right now. Tight spread, great liquidity. I forgot the news was on this trade, to be honest with you, and I don't have class coming up this afternoon, so let me just take a quick look. All right, so space trading higher after the company announced it has completed its third space flight and the first ever space flight from Spaceport America, New Mexico. The word space in that news headline quite often. So yeah, it's a little blurb on space today. Meanwhile, you know, definitely hope to see this move up higher, make another, you know, big long-lived run, no pun intended, heading into the afternoon. I think there's a chance that this stock could do it as opposed to like a low float, crappy pharma. You know, the stock's got a 170 million share float. Doesn't mean it trades 170 million shares every single day. It trades a lot of volume day to day. I mean, just prior to this week, it was trading, you know, 12 million on average, obviously well above that right now at 95 and counting. But, you know, if the stars align, I'm saying, if smart money wants to push this up, this has the gas tank for it to, you know, be possible. And if you just look at the daily chart here too, not only from the last week, but we've been following this stock as an IPO back from 2019. Ended up making this huge, you know, run up back then, 2020, I should say. And then, you know, of course, going back into the beginning of this year, pumped up, made the same type of move. I'm not expecting this to make the same exact type of move that we caught these past two times, but give me a fraction at that. And so far, I'm getting it. So, you know, hopefully right now it will continue to push up higher. The space trade, AMC, right? I mean, AMC wasn't on the morning watch list, folks. I mean, it was relatively flat, but we were hopeful for a bounce on this trade, not even a bounce, a breakout. And I say that specifically for this morning, although it wasn't on the watch list. It was on our side list, and it was on my side list. I was looking at this in pre-market, looking at level 4 book map. There was like a 45,000, 43,000 share iceberg. It was on the ask at the time at $12.30. So this was pretty early in pre-market that we saw this. It broke through that price, you know, going into 9 o'clock. But I want to show you where we ended up seeing this begin to break over 1230. You could see a lot of buying coming in off the level break here and even the test. So it's to say, what if history repeats itself? What if after the market opens up, this breaks below 1230, but it runs right back above it? That was my game plan. The second it broke back over 1230, I jumped in on a double-sized position, ended up squeezing it up pretty nicely. Ended up getting out under 13. I left a lot on the table, of course, at the time. Ended up running all the way up towards 14 or 1396, and you know, pretty close right back up there now. I'm in on this position also. got in off $13.60, ended up kind of holding pretty nicely around 13.50 across the afternoon, broke below and back above it, but I was watching 13.60 for more confirmation, and took a while. I took a couple losses with the run up, but ended up jumping back in on this double position here. Ended up closing part of my position out at 13.78 about like 10 minutes before we started the meeting. I still have 1,000 shares left, but for right now, definitely going to put both on our watch list here, the space trade, and alongside that, the AMC. Norman says you have Fubo, Skills, and the VSTM. Well, the VSTM I definitely want to get to. Norman, you called this one out pretty nicely after the market opened up. Just, hey, we caught it early, right? Broke over 350 going into 11:30, 12 o'clock Eastern time, and has made the perfect type of run up that you would hope for, right? It doesn't always work out that way. So it's just to say, I mean, this is the type of move we pretty much dream of, just a beautiful, slow-moving, cheap stock that's on a really steady trend. It's not choppy. It was beautiful, off the lows. For right now, it's near the highs, right? The volume has been waning off, though, quite a bit after 130. So for right now, I mean, I like the stock. It's, wouldn't hurt us if I put this on our list. I'm going to put this on the side, just, give it a second look at the end. Maybe I go through here. We don't really have much else. Maybe I do, and there's a whole bunch more. So I'd rather just jump to the list here first before I, consider this one any further. We have Skills, Fubo also. Let me check out Fubo also. This one's running up pretty nicely. I like this, up 6+%. A little bit more volatile compared to that VSTM, and I mean that in a good way. VSTM looks like it's like watching the paint dry, watching the grass grow there. Meanwhile, Fubo, at least pretty similar to Space, some good bang for your buck, $21. So, if you're not as comfortable trading anything more than 15, 20 bucks. I know there's a few of us live inside Cyber Group right now. Trade less shares. Or, that's the best thing I would say. You don't need to do the one share, but there is a way of going about risk management. Maybe instead of the 500 shares you would normally trade 200. You don't need to trade one, but you don't need to trade the full position size if you're a little bit more afraid of, risking on this trade. But yeah, definitely for the meantime, Fubo, great call. And yeah, I guess I'll go to Skills here also, a stock that we're pretty familiar with. Slow push up 7%, practically the same move percentage-wise as the Fubo stock. But yeah, I mean, I like this one also for right now. Spreads are still good. Liquidity not too thin. All right. So we added those two there, Norm. All right, so we'll go from top to bottom. This SCPS is follow me here. This SCPS trade is looking honestly like a real POS. So if you know it, you know it. For right now, though, it ended up running up pretty nicely, at least after the market opened off of what, like 12, 13 separate halts. We know for a stock that gets halted on the way up this many times, when it gets halted on the way down once, that's game over. That's a wrap. So as soon as that first down halt kicked in right off the highs, now, it did make a bit of a bounce. Actually, I want to give a shout out to one of our students, Lynette. She ended up calling this out off of 12 when it first broke through 12 on the way back up. Really good call out at the time, and ended up paying off pretty nicely. She got like two separate trades for like 75 cents, then like 56 cents a pop. For right now, though, definitely on the way down, not looking as good. POS, you can call it. Yeah, for right now, I mean, I wouldn't shock me to see this break even lower going into the close down to 10. This MMAC trade. How about this for all of our students live in Cyber Group? Quick little pop quiz. We talked about this just last week in our news class. What's the news on this stock? You don't need to check just to give me an answer. You could just look at the chart. There we go. All of our students here are saying, or at least guessing for now, buyout. Maybe not guessing. I'm gonna take a look just to confirm. I don't know the news myself. It would make me look like a real ass if that was wrong. But nope, we're right here. So it looks like they ended up acquiring or getting acquired, all cash transaction valued at $161.7 million deal. Once the buyout's announced, it just doesn't move. That's as simple as that there. So you look at the chart in pre-market, it's not going to make that big run up or down or go anywhere really. The CREX hasn't gone much of anywhere either, though. This one ended up popping after the market opened up, pulled right back down, and that was it. I was pretty hopeful on this trade for a break over 180. Actually, where was it? Oh, it had to have been right here. the time. Held perfectly, pulled back. I took my eyes off it since, so I don't know. Maybe it can squeak up like 10 cents somehow, but I'm not like really trying to wait for that. VSTM right now looking more and more like it will probably just join our list there at the end. Ooh, OBLN, I forgot about this one. Ended up making a big pop. Took a little while, actually. I mean, it popped out the gate, but then took a little bit longer for it to coil up. And then once it re-broke resistance later on, going into the 10 o'clock time slot here, ended up making this nice move. Yeah, I mean, Fausto described it really well during our audio commentary earlier live inside Cyber Group. You have this like W shape, double bottom, triple top here once it makes that pattern, and then the ensuing breakout leads to a really sharp squeeze. So that's what he was commenting on earlier. Ended up making a second type of move up at least here going into the early afternoon. But for right now, even though I guess it's trying to squeeze back up a little bit here, I don't know. I'm not really trying to wait on that either. Let's see what else we got. Jaguar, JAGX, pretty or stock we're pretty familiar with at least. Ended up making a sneaky move out the gate after the market opened up from 135 up to 160. We caught this off of like 145, 150 at the time, so a little late to the party on this. Ended up dying off shortly after 10 o'clock, 10:30. All right, my AMC trade, I'm still in from 1360. At this point, got to say for a Monday, and not everyone can say the same, right? We all have different results. We're trading different stocks at different times. Fausto pays me to be here at least. So if, I ended up finishing off the morning at 10 o'clock, I would have left like most of us inside the trading room. But, given what had happened today, I mean, if this ends up pulling back on me, it's not nearly the end of my world. So, if I waste this profit, so be it. But I have high hopes of this making the move up to 14 later on, perhaps making the big pop that you would hope to see. And plus, if you look on the daily chart here too, this is approaching resistance that we had dating back to March or April this year. You could see it ended up peaking off of 1450, 1454. 1467 back from last week. So it has a little ways to go, I reckon, to get up towards there. But maybe, with a strong close today, we'll happen to see it hold strong tomorrow and make the run up towards that historical resistance. For the meantime, at least for right now, AMC will keep on our watch list. Space is doing a good job right now. I have that up on a separate monitor. I'd anticipate a false breakout off the 26 on space at first, and then it's a matter of seeing from that point if smart money wants to keep it going. Beyond Meat, right? If we ended up calling this out, ended up making a nice sneaky move after the open, still near the highs right now. The stock has made a huge run up for us in the past. I mean, I'm not going to day trade this. It's way too, out of my price range personally, probably out of the price range for most of us live inside Cyber Group. I'm going to put this on our list, as I would nickname it, for the C2 billionaires in our trading room. The stock's at the highs, definitely more level 5, so to say, outside the price. Pretty thin order book, but even outside the stock, if you happen to do any calls on it, if you're more experienced in options trading, you're going to do any calls going into the close or for this week, maybe that's something for you to decide on yourself. SBBP, this one I had high hopes for too, also after the market opened. This one was a big bust. This brings me to Riot and Mara, huh? And I don't even have my Bitcoin chart open right now. It takes me 2 seconds to load it up, so just bear with me there. I don't think I showed Bitcoin going into the end of the week because it wasn't doing a whole lot, at least Friday afternoon. Then, of course, the second we finished up on Friday, ended up making a big drop once again. That's not surprising to myself, but ended up making that move like practically as we finished up the market day on Friday. So let me bring up Bitcoin really quick. We had some good correlation between Bitcoin and Riot and Mara today. So you could see on an hourly chart here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Going into the weekend, so this is pretty much the drop that we had on Friday morning, but going into the next day, that's when we ended up seeing a further drop. So ended up bottoming out close to 30 again, 32, ended up squeezing back up nicely after. And going into this morning, thankfully, we ended up seeing a strong squeeze back up. I know there was some news out on Mara in particular, Marathon, the stock, MARA. I'll go to that in just a second here. But for the meantime, I mean, on the hourly chart for the first time since what? early May, mid-May here at least. It's making a move back up towards one of the EMAs, the 100 EMA, mind you. So, it's not going to be ready for a huge pump back up just yet, but perhaps slowly but surely this could be the beginning of a nice support build and have this squeeze back up to hold over more of these EMAs over time. Now, leading to Riot and Mara, well, we're finally seeing a bit of a squeeze back up on both. I don't mind putting both on our list here for the meantime. I also was in Mara earlier, ended up doing a little all right on that. Ended up getting like 15 or 20 cents, whatever I posted live inside Cyber Group, but ended up squeezing up a lot more after. Yeah, for right now, I don't mind slipping these on our list here, the Mara and the Riot. If I go through the losers list and we have a lot more, maybe I'll kind of boot one of them off, just be more selective, but I'll consider them for right now. DraftKings popping right now, pretty much in our face, up to 49. New high of the day. How could I not? I feel like Fausto would get upset with me if I didn't put DraftKings on our watch list. And you know what? I'm just going to jump around right now, folks, because one of our students, I think it was Chuck, had a couple of good call outs, and I think DraftKings was one of them. And I just want to jump to his other one because it was moving up. Yeah, Neo. They're not related, mind you. DraftKings and Neo. But you can call that both. I just said, good call at the time. Neo just a little bit slower at the highs. Probably you're going to see a lot of stocks that are like this right now. So I'm not as keen to put a stock like Neo on our list when, hey, look at Palantir. Coming off of news, government deal with the Space Force and Air Force. They announced, I think it was maybe $37 million government deal, which isn't really that much, but pretty well-known company locking up a deal with the Air Force and Space Force. So that's pretty prominent. I was in this earlier off of I should have stayed in. I was in this trade off of 2075. Once it broke through 2075 here, I jumped in and I was holding on the whole way through. I got out once it broke over 21 because I thought it would be a false break, and this is making as good of a move as one could even hope. So, you know what, Palantir, I'm going to slip on our list. Let's see what else we got on the gainers side here. There's our skills. Maybe check back in on this. This one was kind of just at the high. Okay, it's moving up a little bit more now. Good. All right. I thought this would be a little bit too slow. I'm just going to check back in on this one, but ended up making a nice little pop here for us once again, this skills trade. Cool. All right, so let's hop over to the losers list. I want to check out what's on that side of the field. And then, of course, if there's anyone from our social feeds here or from Cyber Group that have any questions or call outs, then type it in the chat board here and I'll just jump to it in a moment. NGM down, 40% just about, just flat stock though. METX from Friday, I think this was even. Was it from Friday or Thursday? Yeah, from Friday. Oh my goodness. So, again, just a quick little lesson for all of us in social media, live inside Cyber Group. You folks hear this from us every day. So it's to say, we had good news come out this morning on Friday for METX. This was a day trade, not a swing trade. And we made that very apparent when we put this on our watch list. But for anyone on social media that just is, let's just say on a more blunt word, more uneducated in terms of day trading, if you expect this stock to make a big move the following day just because it didn't really make a good move this day, it's not always going to happen, if really at all. So, you got to make sure that you don't turn a day trade into a swing trade. I mean, I didn't even see this until now. METX down 32+%. Jeez. Wouldn't shock me if that was like direct offering news or common stock offering. TAL ended up dropping off today. Big drop after the market opened from 41 down towards roughly sub 35. Tighter range right now. Right? But still pretty tradable, trading about 31,000 shares per minute. Tight spread, good liquidity. So for all of that, I don't mind it really. If Fausto was doing this meeting, he probably wouldn't put this on the list, but I kind of see the opportunity in some more stocks. I always say he is the best at keeping it super simple. So, this is one where he probably wouldn't put it on the list, but given the volatility, the range, one way or another, perhaps we see a squeeze up, perhaps we see it break down more and it's a short. So, I'll put it on our list for that reason. SFT, though, look at this. Pretty interesting move, trading almost 10 million shares across the day at the lows, shortable. Otherwise, looking at level 3, that all checks out. Pretty interesting. All right. So you know what? The blockchain stocks are actually getting the boot live as we speak. Mara and Riot. they ended up making a bit of a push earlier. And plus, how about this? For our Mara and Riot that we typically see trending so well going into the afternoon, they rarely ever make that big continuation that you would hope for, right? We go through this song and dance all the time, actually. So, I'm yanking my own leash here a bit and saying, we have a pretty good list here heading into the afternoon. If I'm expecting these to not break out and continue to run up, they might be better shorts. We'll find out, of course, in the coming moments. But, although they're on a really steady trend, wouldn't shock me for that to happen. I'll bump these off the list for the meantime. The SFT, though, at the lows, down big, shortable. I don't know if this is all-time lows either. Kind of looks like it. 690 that was, or 640 from November 13th. Yeah, it looks like all-time lows to me. Even more of a reason. That's pretty cool. That's like my type of opportunity. I like that. EDU also at the low of the day. If I'm putting TAL on the list, which is also an education-based company, I feel like EDU I should put as well. Cheaper, also shortable near the lows. Man, we got a big list here, folks, from Monday. How about OCGN having a sneaky down day, down over 7+%? I had them on my side list on my notepad this morning. I just, there were others that I was more interested in, so I didn't really line this up. But yeah, dropped off quite nicely. It's kind of at the lows right now, so that would tempt me to put this on our list. I just feel like it's pretty flat and slow for the meantime. Got faster movers to worry about here, right? All right, so folks, let me just take a look inside Cyber Group first. Jeff says I shorted AMC every day for almost, or every other day for almost a year. Now it's been hard to borrow. Jeff, you got to learn to buy, man. It's not just all about shorting. You got to learn to dance with the stock here. AMC was like, if you were following it in pre-market, I should say, then it should have been very easy to understand the opportunity on this trade off 1230. That's something I'll talk more about inside Traders Talk come tomorrow. Now, if you weren't watching AMC in pre-market or out the gate, then that's certainly not as easy to say, right? There were trades that you folks took that I just didn't follow that, probably pretty easy for you. Might not be as easy for me to, say that after the fact myself, but for AMC, this was a huge pop after the open. Once it broke that iceberg, that was it. Actually, I want to give a shout out. I'm just seeing this right now. Quick chat to my guy Alan, live inside Cyber Group, one of our students. He asked me earlier, just in pre-market, just as I always say to you folks to do, always message me, just seeing what I'm watching going into the open, what could be a good stock for you to watch. And I told Alan, I said, hey, all I'm watching this morning is PLTR and AMC mainly. And he just wrote me back about maybe like 10 minutes ago. Actually, I just saw the blurb right now. He said, yes, I did reasonably well on AMC. Thanks for the idea. I'll send you the spreadsheet. Perfect. No problem at all, Alan. I appreciate that, though. And for anyone else that ended up capitalizing on AMC, and then, of course, the space trade here, congrats. And hopefully there's a lot more to come on both. Mike says DDD inching up all morning. It is another stock that's at the highs. I feel like it's a little slow, just like, trending up here and there, not here and there, steadily throughout the day, making these pops here and there. I'll tell you what, Kathleen just got out on space. She got out practically right off 26. I'm going to tell you what, Kath, I just got out too. I just closed right now. Got out at 26. I'm expecting a false breakout off at 26. I said that from before. So, you know what? I'm going to listen to my own advice there. And, got plenty of time to re-enter coming up. Ooh, look at Alex here, not just on space, but how about Palantir? Alex P got 27 cents. He was in from 21 bucks, ended up capitalizing off the breakout there going into the afternoon. Excellent. Alex, nice trade. All right. How about all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube? I see from Stephen T on YouTube. How about Tesla's quiet as a rabbit running up today? Let's see. Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, we normally don't day trade, stocks this expensive, let alone as expensive as Beyond Meat. That's what I was saying before. So I didn't even look at Tesla at all today. fantastic move with the S&P, with the Dow. I mean, market's all up today. Very nice either way, right? All right, folks, I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to call it for the meantime here. I'll check out VSTM, the only stock I put on the side list, and this thing's crapping out the other way for right now. All right, so for the meantime, I like our list. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 stocks to work with. One of them's pretty expensive. So, just like we talked about last week, at the end of last week, our phase 2 stock course, talking about, selection and making sure that we're just consolidating our watch list to a group of maybe 2 or 3 stocks. That's it. Hey, for the entire afternoon, maybe outside of Mara once, I was following 3 stocks: Palantir, Space, and the AMC trade, right? I didn't need to go anywhere else. Well, I say the same to you folks. Try and pick 2 or 3 stocks from this list here, and then from that point, see what the best opportunities are. If there's nothing that moves out of the 2 or 3 or 4 stocks that you tend to choose from here, then jump back to the trading room. We'll work together as a team at that point. After 3 o'clock, see what else is out there. All right, folks, for all of us in social media, we will be resuming our Traders Talk workshop live in our Cybergroup trading room only. So we typically do that 2 or 3 times across the calendar year for you folks on social media, Facebook Live, and YouTube. If you'd like to join us tomorrow, feel free to go right down to the link on the banner below just to get started on a trial. But outside of that, we look forward to seeing you folks come back here tomorrow morning for Fausto's morning meeting. I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.